Let's take a look at 1.0 NFL mock draft. This is my version. Jeff Ratcliffe has a free version over at ftnfantasy.com if you wanted to take a look at that. So, 2 weeks ago, I would have had Jalen Carter number one. There's just some off-field stuff here going on with Jalen Carter. So I really don't know if he is going to go one overall. I can't see him falling that far down the list here. And like I said in the last block, I think the Bears would be silly not to move out of that number one pick. So this version of the mock draft, there's no trades. When I come to 2.0 after free agency and things like that, I'll have a couple trades. But I do believe that the Bears are going to trade out of that one spot. They would be silly not to trade out of that one spot. They have so many holes in their roster. They have like 60 million in cap space. I think that they're sold on Justin Fields. I really do believe that they're sold on Justin Fields. And I'm not ready to say that this guy can't throw with accuracy. I hear all the noise. It's the same thing people said about Jalen Hurts. It's the same thing people said about Josh Allen. You know, you can coach up a quarterback. Let's see if they can bring in some weapons for Justin Fields. But trade back out of that one spot. You can still get a nice defensive player, whatever way you want it to go. You can still get an edge player if you wanted to. I got 5 here in the first round. I got 4 in the first 8 picks. So actually, there's more than 5 overall in this draft. There's a lot of really nice, talented edge players here in this draft and really nice defensive players. And if they can get a couple picks and maybe they can trade 1 or 2 of those picks and get themselves a wide receiver, I'm sure they'll address the wide receiver position throughout the draft as well. I know that they've been linked to DeAndre Hopkins, so we'll see. As I mentioned, I think Bryce Young is kind of in that 2 spot there. D'Amico Ryans, Bama boy, Young, Bama boy. But we could see the Colts trade up to that 1 spot and take a quarterback, maybe CJ Stroud there. Maybe we can see Las Vegas trade up and get a quarterback. I know they're linked to Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe they don't go quarterback way. Jimmy G knows the system from being with McDaniels in New England. So they got a lot of holes defensively. They could draft a defensive player and go with Jimmy G. We could see a couple teams move up here. Carolina is a team that could move up and trade. But as of right now, I got Bryce Young in that 2 spot to the Texans. I got CJ Stroud in that 4 spot to the Indianapolis Colts. I got Anthony Richardson in that 7 spot to the Raiders. And then I got Carolina in that 9 spot, Will Levis. So I could see a couple teams here, Carolina, Las Vegas, the Colts, moving up to that 1 spot, getting themselves the quarterback that they want in that draft. I got Jalen Carter falling down to that 5 spot. You see a lot of defensive players here. There's a lot of great cornerbacks. Witherspoon, I got to Philadelphia at pick 10. They're going to lose James Bradbury opposite of Darius Slay. A couple other cornerbacks here. Joey Porter Jr. Could be an option for Philadelphia in that 10 spot as well. And then I also have Washington taking a cornerback and Christian Gonzalez. And I also have, of course, Minnesota taking a quarterback, because what do we know about the Vikings? Their defense, a ton of holes. So some teams there in need of a cornerback. You got, a couple offensive tackles there with the Titans. The Titans certainly could use some help on the line. With pick 11 there, I got them taking offensive tackle. I got the Steelers and the Bucks taking offensive tackle. So I know what you're here for and you want to look at, and it's all exciting to look at the quarterbacks, but also some wide receivers. So I have the Texans at pick 2 with Bryce Young. Go and get themselves a wide receiver, Brandon Cooks, and there's nobody really on this list or on the Texans squad there, wide receivers that just jump out. They need a lot. Jordan Addison, as I mentioned in the last block, plus 400 to be the first wide receiver taken in the draft. I think that they will take a wide receiver at pick 12, whether it's Addison or somebody else that they like. Addison is my favorite. So I have them taking Addison there at that wide receiver spot. I got Seattle taking Jackson Smith and Jigba there at pick number 20. And I also have Quentin Johnson going to the Chargers at pick 21. Some outside speed there. It sounds like Keenan Allen could be done. Mike Williams has been, he's been great when he's on the field, but some injuries there. I think we'll see the Chargers. Defensively, they have a lot of nice pieces. It's all about staying healthy, of course, on paper, but bring in a wide receiver for Justin Herbert there, Quentin Johnson at pick 21. And I got Jalen Hyatt there for the Giants at pick 25. The Giants they're a wild card. Do they bring up Saquon? Do they draft Bijan Robinson there at pick 25? I think they definitely need wide receiver help. I don't think there's really any question about that. So I have them taking a wide receiver at pick 25. And then I have Zay Flowers to the Saints at pick 29. Michael Thomas, as I mentioned, is a complete wild card. Chris Olave is going to be a player in this league, a stud season last year. He's fantastic. So get another wide receiver there. Derek Carr and company. All of a sudden, you got an offense there that's got two nice pieces at the wide receiver position, Alvin Kamara as well. And then, KC, if Zay Flowers was there, potentially, KC could be an option at pick 31. For Bijan Robinson, I've seen some mocks, Bijan Robinson to Philadelphia. I just don't think that's not what Howie Roseman does. There's a need at the cornerback position. He's not going to take Bijan Robinson at pick 10. If Robinson was there at pick 30, I can certainly see it. I can certainly see them maybe going another direction and looking potentially at a running back as well at that point in the draft. Maybe it's Gibbs at pick 30 for the Eagles. I know Jeff Ratcliffe has him at pick 30 as well, but I went with the Buffalo Bills taking Bijan Robinson. I think this would be split. Bills fans could be happy. They could be bummed. It's not a team that really runs the rock all that much over the past few seasons. I feel like they've been very one-dimensional. Of course, they have a quarterback in Josh Allen who calls their own number. They're not going to bring back Devin Singletary. I like James Cook. I think James Cook could be a nice player in terms of yards per touch and yards per opportunity. He was top 5 in both of those categories. You give him a few more touches this year. He could be a nice running back for the Bills and certainly a nice fantasy option. But Bijan Robinson is certainly the real deal. 4.46 is what he ran over the weekend. He's a true three-down back, and I like everything that he has to offer. He can run you over. He can make you miss. He can hit the corner. He's got excellent hands. He's a strong route runner. He's got vision. He's got burst. I think he's absolutely fantastic. So as I mentioned, a couple different landing spots that I've seen from him. Philly at pick 10. I've actually seen the Lions at pick 18. I don't think that they'll go that way. I've also seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick 19. I also don't think they'll go that way. They have Rashad White, and know they released Leonard Fournette. They need some help on the offensive line. They need some help defensively. I don't think that they're going to take a running back. I've seen some Baltimore stuff here. Now I have Baltimore taking a safety here and Brian Branch. It's just, what do they need? A wide receiver. I would love for them to take, a Quentin Johnson or a JSN. If those guys go ahead, maybe they're thinking about Hyatt, maybe they're thinking about Flowers, but the Baltimore Ravens way is not to go the wide receiver route in the first round. We heard the comments from Rashad Bateman just last week. I mean, this isn't a team that really addresses the wide receiver position at all in the first round. They're a team that likes to take defensive players, and Brian Branch is a great one. So you bring in a safety who can play corner and move him around a little bit as a leader there, a Bama guy. I think that would be, on brand for the Baltimore Ravens, but this is certainly a team that needs some wide receiver help, and I expect them to do it. I've also seen Bijan Robinson at pick 26 of the Dallas Cowboys. That's something I wouldn't be shocked. Jerry Jones is a guy that will always do something that kind of is outside the box. Of course, he was very aggressive with drafting Zeke and giving him that money and Pollard franchise tag. Do they just cut Zeke, or do they find a way to restructure his contract? There's a lot of different scenarios they can go. How about the tight ends, right? I mean, this is a tight end class that is fantastic. Dalton Kincaid is absolutely just a baller, and I got him going to the Packers. Of course, the Packers could go a wide receiver way as well. Maybe they go Flowers, or they take Jackson Smith and Jigba, as a slot wide receiver that they can roll out there as well. But Kincaid, productive, good route runner after the catch. He's explosive. And then Michael Mayer as well. I got him going to the Cincinnati Bengals there at pick 28. Physical, strong hands, big frame, strong, solid run blocker. I think Cincinnati fans probably want an offensive lineman. We'll see what way they go, but imagine Michael Mayer there, or Mayer, in there with all of the weapons that the Bengals do have. So that is 1.0. Come at me with all your takes. Of course, I want to hear your feedback as well. And version 2.0, we'll have some trades in there. As I mentioned, I do believe the Bears are going to trade. It'd be silly not to trade out of that one spot, especially with all the offseason noise there surrounding Jalen Carter.